Hello there. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. Welcome here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So, we're here to do Monday night's look back at a classic rock album. I do apologize in advance because my throat is kind of scratchy, which means I'll probably cough more than I want to. Timing was perfectly. So, anyways, the album I've chosen for this is an album that I've had for a couple of years, but for some reason I never put it forward. I had mistakenly put it as further along in their discography than it actually was. Otherwise, it probably would have been done by now. And the album is, of course, Deep Purple's Fireball, which was released July 1971 in the US and then in September 1971 in the UK. Was recorded at Delaine Leah Studios and Olympic Studios in London, and then the Hermitage Welcome in North Devon. I'm not sure if that's how you say that, but anyways, that's the way I'm saying it. It's about 40 minutes, 40 and a half minutes long, on the Harvest record label and produced by Deep Purple. So the personnel on the album, I guess I should show you up close who they are. You've got John Lord on keyboards and organ, Ian Pace on drums and percussion, I guess. Richie Blackmore on guitars, Ian Gillan on vocals, and Roger Glover on bass. Now, the story with Roger Glover, for those, I probably mentioned this in the first episode that I did on Deep Purple, which is In Rock. How this is the Mark II lineup, and Roger Glover came on board basically because Ian Gillan kind of insisted that he wouldn't join without Roger, so they took him on, even though I think Richie didn't really want him. But anyways, he became part of the band, and I think that was a good thing, right? So this is the Mark II lineup. They produced, I believe, 4 albums under that. So for some reason, I thought this was like their 4th one under that. And I thought it went In Rock, Machine Head, and this one was like number 4. But actually, this one came out in 71, so it goes in between Machine Head and In Rock. So In Rock, as you know, I love. It's my favorite Deep Purple album. Machine Head, I didn't warm up to very well at all. So it kind of left me a little bit disappointed, and I moved away from Deep Purple for a while there. But then I heard one of their more recent albums, and they kind of got me back in it. Plus, last year's release also brought me back to them. And then I said, well, you know what? I should listen to some of these other ones that I've owned for a while but haven't really put in my playlist. So we'll start with Fireball, which is the one that I put in the playlist. It took a while to get through its waiting period to get in the playlist, but now doing very well. It's my 3rd favorite album, and I suspect that it might get to number 1. It might. Anyways, 7 tracks, pretty standard for them, at least in that period of time. They had 3 albums in a row with 7 songs on it. This one is a heavy, I think overall it's a heavier album than In Rock. In Rock has some absolute killer heavy songs on it, but I think this one from top to bottom is heavier. And I think I may end up liking this one more. I feel like it's such a strong album for me. I've been waiting to do it because it hasn't really got to that 5-month period yet. It's probably a few weeks short of that, but such a good album, I'm going to do it early. Okay, so there are 7 tracks, as I've said. The first track is Fireball, the title track, of course. Very fast-paced, heavy drums, and some heavy bass throughout this particular track. Vocals are like heavy. This probably a little clearer than the rest of the tracks, but not too bad here. And there's a little bit of screaming here from Ian Gillan, but there's not as much screaming on this album as you would think. To me, he should be the screaming all the time, but he's not in this particular. The keyboard solo and organ are both top line. This is among his best songs on the album for the keyboard and organ solos. The guitar solo is a bit distorted It's heavy. It's got a heavy riff, anyways, and the keyboards are they kind of back him up a bit here. They're a little bit distorted as well, and the keyboard solo is also very distorted. And I think part of the reason for that is that the production on this album is not great. It's kind of murky. Even like, I don't know if it's murky as much as it's distorted. It feels like there's it's been forced, or it's too frontal. It's not clean, I guess is a good way to put it. The second song, No No No, this is one of my two favorite tracks on the album. Very bluesy guitar opening with some heavy rhythm, catchy guitar riff here. Keyboards are overall add a huge atmosphere to this particular track. I think the guitar is very strong and very frontal, one of the stronger, more frontal songs on the album for the guitar. It's got a very bluesy solo, melodic, distorted, very atmospheric. Almost a haunting sound. Yeah, definitely a haunting sound. Gillan's vocals, a bit distorted, a bit scratchy, but heavy. And the keyboard solo, the first one he does, is kind of slow at points and fast at other points, but it also has a xylophone feel to it, like he's playing the xylophone. I don't know that that's what he's playing, it just has that feeling to it. It sounds like that to me. Then he gets into this organ, and it kind of takes over for the rest of the song. Very heavy, lots of screaming towards the end of the song, and the guitar solo is fantastic as usual. So probably at this point, one of my two favorites. Strange Kind of Woman, of course, is the song on here that I was well known to me. I had it on one of my live albums before I got to like it, so I didn't know it came from Fireball, but here it is. It's a great tune. Doesn't get as high a rating with me, maybe because of that particular reason. Heavy riff, slow melodic, very heavy. The vocals are forward, but not over top of the rhythm section. The rhythm section is a little bit more forward than it. The rhythm section is very heavy, very dominant on this track. Chorus is slow vocal parts with a distorted instrumentation throughout it as well. I thought the guitar solo was melodic, detailed, slow at times. And the second solo, also melodic, but more faster and heavier in pace. So that's a Strange Kind of Woman. So the next song out, Anyone's Daughter, I did like this track. Kind of the outlier on the album because it's kind of got a humorous side to it. Obviously, it's a bit sexual in its connotation, and almost a kind of humorous way in which they play the music almost has a country feel to it, and the lyrics, of course, lend to that humorous side to it. I did like the song, though. Opens with a kind of bits and pieces of guitar parts with a low bass overtone that's kind of drumming in the background. And then you have this kind of countryish picking sound that goes on. It's a bluesy track at times. The vocals are busy with that touch of humor that I was talking about. There's a piano part in here. I think it's the only one on the album that I remember. And it's actually quite good. The second break, they do more of a guitar picking part. So the first break has that piano. Yeah, okay. The first break has that piano sound, and the second break has that picking guitar-like part. And then I find it ends up feeling at the end like it's a little bit disconnected, like they're all going off in their own direction, and just kind of ends that way. It's kind of different. It's definitely a outlier on the album. It doesn't sound like the rest of the album. Oh, sorry, I flipped the wrong page. So the next tracks, the final three tracks, The Mule. This is a heavy one paragraph of lyrics, so not strong on the lyrics, but heavy on the drums and the bass. The picking like guitar part going on here. This is The Mule. It's the name of the song. The vocals are quieter, but almost speaker-like, almost voice-like instead of vocal-like. Distorted keyboard part, and a little bit of synthesizer in there too. At least it sounds like that. It could be just distorted keyboards though. It's a heavy track, and it ends up with a kind of an organ solo towards the end. Probably my least favorite track on the album, but still not a bad track at all. Next track up is Fools. This is slow, quiet keyboard part and bass opening. Then a heavy guitar dominated riff, which goes throughout most of the rest of this track. The vocals are loud, raspy, forward in sound. Slow drum part, then just a kind of how do you say it? It's kind of backing up the guitar riff. Is what I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think of a way to explain it. So you got this heavy guitar riff with a drum beat right behind it. Then you have another slow drum part again, and this with a more melodic guitar beat. And then again, another heavy guitar dominated riff throughout it, and once again ends up with a heavy organ finish to it. Good track. I do like this one's one of the better tracks on the album. And then the final track on the album, No One Came. This is probably the other song that I like the most between No, No, No and No One Came. Those are the two, probably my two favorite tracks. This one, heavy guitar riff, very distorted. The vocals heavy, very distorted as well. Very raw feel to it. The overall song is very distorted. The production is not great on this particular track, but the distortion is very dominant. You got this solo, very heavy, very heavy metalish sounding guitar solo. I think it's probably the best solo between this and the other song that I like a lot, No, No, No. Both of them very guitar solo dominated. I am a big Ritchie Blackmore fan. He's one of my favorite musicians. The guy is an amazing guitar player. That's all I can say about him. And not so dominant on this as far as the soloing goes, but the riffing very dominant. So that's it for this album, Fireball from Deep Purple. The album for today. I hope you've liked and subscribe. If you like and subscribe to this channel. And if you like the album, you can make your comments about the album in the comment section below. If you want to say anything about Deep Purple or about the album or about anything I've said, you can do that as well. And we will be back next week with another album on my look back at a classic rock album. So have yourself a good evening and goodbye.